So today we are going to do my roasted garlic and wild mushroom risotto. Has anybody ever roasted garlic before? Yeah, we got a couple. Has anybody ever made risotto before? All right, we got a couple. So roasting garlic's simple. I do it a very easy way. I just cut the tops off of the garlic away from the root. You keep it in that bulb, right? But you're exposing the top of the garlic bulbs. And then you just put it in some tin foil, drizzle it with olive oil, salt and pepper, 300-degree oven for about an hour. You will know when it's done. It fills your house with aromas. Your entire house is going to smell like garlic. My friends say that roasted garlic is my trademark scent. Not sure if that's good or bad, but I'll take it. I don't mind it. So, like I said, we roasted the garlic off. Once it's done, all you got to do is just give it a little squeeze, let it cool down, give it a little squeeze, and all that beautiful garlic just comes plopping right out of the clove, the paper that we have. So, without further ado, let's get some food cooking here. You're going to have to give me a second. This is all very technological up here. Like technology's even invading the home kitchen. So it's pretty awesome. What we're going to do to start off with, we're going to get some olive oil in the pan, and we're going to get some shallots kind of going. We're just going to cook them till they're translucent. We don't want them to get any color because that color will transfer into the risotto. You want to kind of have that creamy color, creamy chicken stock, rice kind of color. You don't want little burnt bits of shallot in your risotto. So we're going to let this oil kind of heat up a little bit. At the same time, we can go ahead and get some mushrooms started. You could put the mushrooms in the risotto once you've got the rice cooking, but I like to get a sear on it, right? We want that Maillard reaction that brings out the flavors of whatever it is that you're searing. So we will go ahead and get some mushrooms going as well while we wait on this oil to heat up. All right. Let's see. There we go. All right. All right, has anybody ever been to Italy before? Anybody had any risotto in Italy? Holy crap, it's Palm Desert, that's why. Yeah, that's why. Usually I might get one. Yes. I like it. My kind of peoples. So I actually had the privilege of visiting Italy about 2013. It was really kind of what changed my mentality of food. Before I went to Italy, I was like, let's throw as much junk into a pot and let's try to flavor it with as much junk as we possibly can. But you go to Italy and you see the importance of good ingredients, of high-quality ingredients, using what's in season. So that actually kind of translated into my MasterChef win. That was kind of what pulled me back from a home cook into trying to elevate my food into MasterChef quality or professional quality. Oops, that was the wrong pan, but that's all right. We'll just do it that way. We'll do the mushrooms over here instead because I'm talking. Got a little sidetracked. But we're going to go ahead and sear off our mushrooms, get that Maillard reaction going. We got this other pan here. We will start our risotto in this. There we go. So we'll get a nice little sear going on these mushrooms. We'll get a little bit more olive oil in this pan. All right. Does anybody have any questions out there? Everybody good so far? I haven't started doing much, so I hope you're on track. Yes, ma'am. For this is always Arborio rice. You want to use a short grain rice because it doesn't need the steam that regular long grain rice, like a basmati or something, would. Oh man, I buy what's available. I mean, Arborio is one of those rices that when grocery stores do carry it, especially in Vegas, they usually don't have one selection. So you go with that. But there's a ton of different ones out there. And with the advent of Amazon nowadays, I mean, you could really find any. If you wanted higher quality rice, you could definitely get it. This guy doesn't seem to want to come on here. Let's transfer this over here and see how this one works. All right. Well, we're just going to keep cooking some mushrooms. All right, we're doing a mushroom demo today. All right, I think that's not wanting to come on. All right, there we go. I think it's working now. If not, we'll switch it back there. All right, so we're getting our sear on our mushrooms. We got some shallots already pre-diced. You want a pretty small mince on these shallots. You want them to be about the same size. That is blinking again at me. You want them to be about the same size as the rice. So let me see what's going on here. Where's our technical guy that's here representing the brand here? All right, any questions out there about MasterChef? Anybody want to know anything about the show? Yes, sir. The venison for my final dish. When I went on the show, I kind of had it in my head that I wanted to use venison. It's just, it should be more widely used. So I really wanted to show that, and I wanted to show that it shouldn't be a meat that people are scared of. You know, game meats need to be more widely eaten. They're widely available. But I say this a lot, and it sounds cheesy. It kind of literally came to me in a dream. But I mean, I woke up, I was struggling with what I was going to do for a couple days in that amount of time that we have, and I literally woke up one morning, and the entree had come to me. The dessert took me a while, because I knew I wanted to simplify things. I wanted to do something very simple, because everything else was so elaborate and so kind of over the top. So I knew I wanted to kind of rein that in a little bit. The dessert was what stumped me a lot. The appetizer I thought was amazing, but Gordon seemed to hate it. This one, it's like coming on and then it will start blinking at me.
It's got to be induction.
Is this not an induction pan? They told me it was.
All right, we'll get it. Give me just a second.
Yeah, no worries. They said it was an induction pan. Right. It might not be. All right, we're getting it figured out. But yeah, so I mean, the appetizer, I knew I wanted to do the halibut cheeks. I wanted something different for people. So, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to switch this guy back here and see if that works. Nope, that's beeping again. Yeah, I don't think it's an induction. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. We're figuring it out. We're getting there. All right, so since that's like that, I'm going to move this over here so we can get this risotto started. Can I get a little more olive oil? Oh, right here. There we go. All right, so now we can get started on this risotto. Shallots in the pan. Turn down that heat just a little bit since we're not searing it. All right, so shallots in the pan. We're going to give those a little bit of a cook on that. Like I said, we're just trying to get this translucent. We're not trying to get any color on these shallots. A little bit of salt. We're going to be adding cheese later, so you don't want to add a lot of salt in the beginning because Parmesan cheese is inherently salty, right? So you want to make sure you're not over-salting too early. All right, this guy is raging hot. We got a little color. A big mistake that home cooks make on risotto is they don't toast the rice, right? You want to toast the rice. And when you toast the rice, what that does is it opens up the little pores on the rice, so when you put your flavors in, it starts sucking up all that amazing flavor, the chicken stock, the Parmesan, the mushroom flavor, right? So you want to toast the rice a little bit. You're going to start smelling it. You're going to see it start turning a little bit of a kind of an off-white, oaky, brownish color, but not too much, right? So we've toasted our rice a little bit here. Like I said, I let this pan get a little too hot, but it's still going to be delicious. All right. Chicken stock. I don't have an extra pan, but I always heat my chicken stock before I put it in the risotto, right? What you want to do, the reason you heat it first is because you don't want to bring down the temperature of the risotto. That one go? I think we're good now. You don't want to bring down the temperature of the risotto, right? When you put chicken stock in, you want it to still be at that kind of simmering or boiling. When you put it in cold, we've already worked on opening up the pores of this rice, right? So when you put it in cold, it makes the rice seize up, right? So you can't get all those great flavors that you're trying to get in. So always bring your stock to a little bit of a simmer. We're going to pretend. TV magic, all right? So we're going to put our stock in. We're going to go work at about a cup at a time. And we'll just give this a nice little stir. And then we're also going to add some sherry vinegar to our mushrooms. This would be hot and blah, 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 and you're deglazing the pan and blah, blah, blah. So we're good. And some sherry vinegar. Ooh, we losing lighting too? Just got romantic in here, guys. All right, so we've got some chicken stock in here. We're going to bring this back up to a boil, or close to a boil. What's that? Oh, yeah, whenever I can, I do. But these are great. You know, induction burners are getting better and better and better. Like, this is an amazing setup. This is like something from Tomorrowland in Disney up here. So, but any other questions out there? How's this side doing? This side's kind of quiet over here. Any other questions? You guys good? Everybody napping? Too much wine already? Oh, man. Yeah? What's up? I don't think I would want to compete in a MasterChef All-Stars. I would rather go back and like judge or something like that. I don't want to take other people's opportunities, right? No, seriously, I've already gotten this opportunity. I've been able to do amazing things. You know, I get to travel the country doing this. there's other people that are really great in the kitchen, and I feel like they, if they were to do something like that, they deserve that opportunity. So, oh, don't clap for that. Don't clap for that. See, I got him. No. Yes, ma'am. Wine, I do, but I substitute the sherry vinegar in this. I feel like it gives it a little bit of a additional sweetness. Traditionally, you would deglaze with white wine or other types of wine, depending on what risotto you're doing. I like the sherry vinegar with this one, and it works well with the mushrooms. It actually kind of brings out the flavor of the mushrooms. So let's sear these down a little bit more, too. So, but yeah, white wine is kind of the traditional that you would use. Different kind of risottos. Like I do a squid ink risotto all the time. Has anybody ever had squid ink before? Couple people. How many people are scared when I say the word squid ink? Nobody? Okay, couple, sorta, kinda. There's so many different risottos out there you can do. Squid ink actually is a beautiful risotto. It gives that nice, deep, kind of tuxedo black color to it. I do a butternut squash risotto, which is delicious, but this is one of the first dishes that I ever really kind of started making, so that's why we're doing it here today. We're going to take our garlic. We're just going to kind of mash this down. We want to turn it into a little bit of a paste, because you don't want, even how delicious roasted garlic is, you don't want to eat a big chunk, a big clove of roasted garlic. What's that? Just says me. It is good. When you roast garlic, it takes that acidity out of it, right? It takes that spiciness, because garlic is kind of spicy when it's raw. So roasting it really takes out that spicy, astringent taste and turns it into something that's actually pretty magical and sweet. Yep, absolutely. All right, so we've got some of our garlic in here. We'll give this another stir. What you're trying to do is you're trying to let all the water kind of cook off, right? So this is still a little bit wet. We'll let it cook, pretend, for a couple more minutes, but right now I'm just going to add a little more stock so we can make sure we get it done in time for this demo. I think we're going to start feeding you something now, so I hope you guys enjoy that. All right, so we're going to give our mushrooms a little bit more of a sear here. That's going. We're going to go ahead and add some Parmesan cheese. Like I said, the saltiness, it's coming in from the Parmesan cheese, so you don't want to over-season or over-salt early in this process. All right, so Parmesan cheese in there. And we will give it a little stir. Give our mushrooms a little shake. How is it so far? You guys enjoying? Good? This side's getting fed. That side's jealous because they're not getting any food yet. All right. So everybody got distracted now that the food's out, huh? Everybody's looking at the food. All right. So we've got our cheese in here. We've got a little bit more stock in there. We're going to continue to cook this down. We're letting our mushrooms sear up a little bit more. I am going to add some parsley, chopped parsley to our mushrooms, and some lemon zest to our mushrooms, just to really bring it out, to make it kind of vibrant. All right. We'll give this guy a little shake, make sure everything is nice and well coated with the lemon zest and the parsley. Little teeny bit of salt, and we'll let that cook. So there's kind of two camps when it comes to risotto. Some people feel like you should stir it all the time. I kind of feel like you should let it do its own kind of magic. Stir it, every 2 to 3 minutes just to kind of loosen it up. Make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. All right. How is it? Everybody's quiet. Everybody enjoying? Everybody good? You liking that? This side wins the prize for the day, guys. Come on, how is it? There we go. How is it? All right. Middle. I don't know. I think they might have come back. I think they might have had the comeback. All right. So these mushrooms are looking pretty good. They're going to reduce down in size a little bit. Not going to be quite as big when we go to add them to our risotto. All right. And that's looking great. Some restaurants serve risotto. They put it in a mold, and it's all kind of tough and gummy and stuff like that. I kind of want my risotto to have a little bit of a flow to it, right? So you see how that's kind of flowing a little bit? That's what we're going to want that final consistency to be. All right. So mushrooms are still working pretty good here. All right. Any questions from this side? Yes, ma'am. I do. I cook all the time. My wife's in here somewhere. She can tell you. I cook all the time. I love it. I was a DJ for 20 years, and I'm so much happier being around food people instead of drunk 22-year-olds, right? It got a little exhausting. You know, food people are happy people. I look around, I don't see any unhappy faces. It's nothing but smiles, rubbing your belly, you know, drinking some good wine. So I am so much happier doing food stuff instead of what my past life was. So I cook at home almost every day, except when I'm dead tired and I order pizza. But that is few and far between. You know, I want to keep reinventing and keep learning. Like, I'm always trying to learn. You know, in food, nobody's ever going to be an expert. You know, Marco Pierre White wrote a book, White Heat, or that's his cookbook, and his other one's The Devil in the Kitchen. And in that book, he says, I've only come up with one perfect recipe. I've always been evolving my recipes. So I took that to heart, and I'm always constantly working at home. I'm constantly trying new recipes, ordering the craziest ingredients you can think of on Amazon. Thank God for Amazon, right? Until you have to deal with them in a fraud case, and then they don't want to do anything for you. So, all right. But yeah, it's so nice to, and I was actually talking to Richard Blaze the other day. It's nice to have access to all that ingredients at your fingertips. Like Richard Blaze's first book, Try This at Home, was one of the books that really kind of got me out of my shell when it came to food, and I started kind of trying new, creative, crazy things. And the only way that I could do that was having a resource like Amazon, having some place to buy Squid Ink and Jamon Iberico and whatever else it might have been, gel sheets or agar and stuff like that. You know, that's not something you're going to find in your everyday grocery store, right? So it's nice to have something like that. And I use it all the time and just cook my butt off at home. All right, am I splashing you? Did I splash you? I'm sorry. All right, how's it going? Everybody get a good little full belly? All right. Any questions? Everybody good? Anybody have a question about the recipe? Yes, ma'am. Yes. I do. Yeah. I mean, store-bought stocks aren't bad. It's at the end of the day, it's just bones and water, if you break it down. So, you know, using store-bought stocks is not a big issue. Anyone is really, I mean, you're going to find different subtleties in salt level, right? That's where you're going to find a bigger difference. And the salt is obviously what changes flavor. But, you know, making it at home is not as hard as you think. Just save your chicken bones, right? Save your chicken bones, throw it in a pot of water, let it boil, or let it, you know, slowly kind of simmer for a couple hours. It just takes one little spot. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, actually, in my cookbook, My Modern American Table, I have recipes for chicken stock and beef stock and fish stock and vegetable stock and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's super easy to make at home. We're going to add these in here, right? My freezer right now at home is full of nothing but carcasses and fish bones, and it is literally like a Halloween haunted mansion in my freezer. Because I save everything. So, you know, I save the paper off of onions. I save the butts of onions. I save little papers from garlic. All of that has flavor, right? And we're, you know, throw it in a pot. That's for vegetable stock. Or the ends of green bell peppers or whatever it is that you want, right? We're at a time in the U.S. where we are wasting so much food, right? So to be able to use those scraps in a creative way and to, you know, save money on the pocketbook, save a little stress on the pocketbook, it's a good thing to do, and it's easy. I think I saw your hand up too, sir. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right? Excuse me. In a restaurant setting, you kind of have to par cook it because risotto is one of those things that takes time, and it's you just have to par cook it. Like, that's just a fact of life. And this takes 20 to 30 minutes of kind of full attention. So if a restaurant is going to do it from scratch, per order, they're usually going to tell you up front that, hey, this is going to take 25, 30 minutes. It's just like if you go and order a paella or something somewhere, kind of the same deal, right? They're going to let you know that it's going to take a while if they're cooking it from scratch. Actually, Gordon does par cook on most of his risottos at his restaurants in Vegas. It's just kind of a fact that you have to do in the kitchen. Good question, though. Anybody else? Any other questions? Everybody good? Quiet bunch? You just wanted to get the food, right? Just get the food and the wine in here. So, okay, I'll ask a question for you. One of the big ones I get is, do you get recipes or anything like that on MasterChef? And the answer is no. You're allowed to take 5 cookbooks with you, and you can study in your free time. And if you watch the show, all the books that they have on set, those are real books. They're not just Hollywood props. So we do get to look at those in our downtime. But when Gordon Ramsay says go, it's go time. You don't get a recipe to go with a cake or a souffle that you're making. So you have to kind of know your weaknesses going into MasterChef. So for me, all I did was bake for about 3 months. When I found out I got the call and I was going to MasterChef, all I did was bake. It was cakes, pies, and they're all right here. They're all sitting right here still. But yeah, I fattened up my friends by about 10 pounds. But I went on MasterChef and I won every damn baking challenge. So the thing is, you have to know your weaknesses before you get to MasterChef, right? You have to know, because they're going to throw it at you. Eventually, you're going to get thrown something that is not your strong suit. So like I said, for me, that was baking. If you know what your weaknesses are and you practice those before you get there, you're going to have a much more successful run. So good question, Shaun. Good job. Yes, ma'am. She got here late. No, I'm just messing. Fabio. No, Gordon's an amazing guy. He is very real when he's yelling at you. You know, I've been called, it's real. Yeah, it's real. I've been called everything from an idiot sandwich to an effing donkey to baloney head to, you know. I don't think he ever said baloney head. I might need to text him that one. That's a good one. I like that one. No, it's real. It's real. Like I said, Gordon was trained in that French regime style kitchen. Right? Gordon had plates and bowls and all that kind of shit thrown at him. Right? So he has kind of passed that on, but he found a way to make it entertainment. Right? I always say Gordon Ramsay is the one man responsible for making it acceptable to say the F word on national TV. Right? Up until then, we didn't have to hear beep, mother beep, beep, beep. Right? And now with Gordon Ramsay, we have to hear beeps in all our damn shows. So, and it's crazy that this guy is now kid-friendly. Like, when did we make that turn, right? I don't understand it. But what I tell people is the way Gordon is on MasterChef Junior, that's really his real personality. That's really how he comes off in real life. He's one of the most friendly people you'll ever meet. And he's just an all-around awesome guy. So this risotto got a little bit stiffer than I like it, but that's because we were sitting here chatting for a little bit. But we are just going to plate this up. Nice big bowl of risotto here. Am I passing out this plate? I will. I can. Yeah? Oh, man, I forgot. One thing. I do put butter in at the end, too. Sorry. I like talking more than doing every step of the recipe, right? I like communicating with people. But, yeah, butter in at the end. It just kind of gives it a nice, silky, smooth texture. And all my mushrooms are on one side here. So let's put some more mushrooms on the other side. Make it look kind of even. All right. So, and usually what I'll do is I'll garnish this up with some microgreens, some micro-radish, micro-radish brings in a peppery flavor without having to add pepper. So, and it also brings a little freshness. You could add a little bit more parsley on top, some shaved cheese on top. Really whatever to kind of add a little bit of freshness, a little bit of brightness, because it is kind of, it's a hearty dish. You know, it's Italian mama food. It's Italian grandma food. So a little bit of that kind of helps brighten the dish up at the end. That is about it for me. Does anybody have any other questions over here? No? I got one. I got a question. Yes. A little bit. Not a lot. Indian flavors are super bold, a lot of different spices. I'm a salt and pepper guy, personally. But I love making curries. Curries are fun for me. It is me getting outside of my comfort zone, but it's not what I cook a lot. I'm kind of scared of it, to be honest with you. It's scary. Indian food's scary to me. There's a lot that goes into it. It looks like, just one flavor on a plate, but those flavors, like a garam masala, that's the shopkeeper's blend. So I do know some things about Indian food, but garam masala means like a shopkeeper's blend, right? So they're different at every shop that you go to. So Indian flavors are a little intimidating for me. So, any other questions, guys? Yes, ma'am. I just serve it with just as risotto. When I do like a scallop risotto or a sea bass risotto, I'll put a little piece of fish on top. But this one, I mean, this is one of the very few dishes that could be very easily transferable to vegetarian. I don't do much vegetarian. Like, I'm a beef guy, again, as you can tell. But yeah, I think risotto is one of those things that stands up by itself, and it doesn't really need a protein or anything like that. So, good question. All right, one more time. How's this guy doing? Oh, man. You guys? Hey. Over here. All right. They win, champions. All right, thank you guys so much.